This is the story of the first crime ever committed and the first law that had to be made in order to stop it from happening again. Our story begins back before the dawn of civilization, back to a time when the strongest and most cunning ruled the primitive tribes with an iron fist. And our hero of the story is named Grog. Now, Grog was a good hunter, but he was also lazy and greedy. And because of these two traits, he has an idea. It's an idea so diabolical, it would change his tribe forever. See, Grog lived in a cave with about 30 other people, all of whom were related in some way. They were all friends and family, and because they were so primitive, trust was the only thing that kept them together. They shared everything between each other. Food, tools, shelter, women. There were no formal laws or rules. If someone needed something, everyone pitched in and helped them. Because they were so primitive, though there wasn't much excess, there was just enough to survive. And that's why when Grog had an idea to steal some extra food and hide it away for himself. Well, nobody had ever done anything like that before. Not because they couldn't, but because they didn't have any reason to. Grog started small. He would take a few extra tubers or berries whenever he went to gather food, and then bury them in a secret spot near the river. Nobody ever noticed this. The next step was to start taking extra meat. Whenever the tribe went out hunting, and they came back with more meat than they could eat, Grog would sneak around and take a big chunk of meat and hide it away. He also took bigger and sharper knives and better spears. But still nobody knew what he was doing. You see, up until now, the tribe never even thought about taking extra food or tools. It was unheard of. But Grog had a reason why he wanted to do this. You see, there was a drought and things were getting bad. There wasn't enough food for everyone. People were getting weaker. He thought that if he had extra food stashed away, he and his family would survive while everyone else would probably die. Then one day, Grog was gathering berries when he saw Oog, one of the younger tribe members, digging in the dirt near the river. Grog had buried some of his food here. And he was afraid Oog might find it, so Grog asked Oog what he was doing. "I'm looking for food," replied Oog. "There hasn't been enough to eat lately." Grog knew at this point that he couldn't keep hiding food anymore. So he decided to let Oog in on his little secret. "Follow me," said Grog. He led Oog to where he had buried some of his food, and they split it up between themselves. Grog told Oog that this was his secret stash, but that he could have some if he promised not to tell anyone. Oog agreed, and they both ate their fill for the first time in weeks. But Grog made a mistake. You see, Oog couldn't help but brag about what he got, and pretty soon the whole tribe knew about Grog's secret food stash. They were outraged. They confronted Grog, demanding that he share his food with them, but Grog refused. "It's my food," he said. "I took it from the communal stores. I have every right to do what I want with it." The tribe was shocked. Nobody had ever thought about having rights over communal property. They always did what was best for the group. To them, taking extra food and hiding it away was selfish, and selfish people didn't belong in the tribe. The tribe leader Torok was Grog's brother, and he was furious. "You selfish coward," he yelled. "Why would you take extra food and hide it away? We are a tribe. We share everything." "I did it because I was scared," said Grog. "The drought has made things hard, and I thought we were going to die. I wanted my family and I to survive." "That's no excuse," said Torak. "Yeah, should have shared your food with us instead of hiding it away." Grog was afraid. He didn't want to get kicked out of the tribe, but he didn't want to share his food either. So he lied. "I don't have any food hidden away," he said. "You're all just making things up." The tribe was furious. They never thought one of their own would lie to them, but Grog showed them where he was hiding food. And that ended any hope of him surviving this situation. The tribe was divided. Some thought Grog should be kicked out, while others thought he should be punished in some way. But no one could agree on what to do. So that's when Oog spoke up. "We should kick him out," he said. "He doesn't deserve to be in our tribe anymore." Grog's wife Zira was against this. "He's my brother," she said. "And besides, what will he do outside the tribe? He can't hunt or gather food. He'll probably starve." The tribe liked this idea. They didn't want Grog to starve, but they also didn't want him to stay in the tribe. That's when Torak came up with a solution. "Let's punish him," he said. "We'll take his weapons and his extra food and give it to those who need it. Then we'll leave him alone to fend for himself." Everyone agreed. They took Grog's food and weapons and gave them to those who needed it. They even gave him the bare minimum of tools needed to hunt and gather. Then they left him by himself, hoping that he would learn his lesson. Grog was scared. He was barely given enough tools to survive, But he was even more ashamed. For the first time in his life, he felt betrayed. Not only was he betrayed by himself, but by his own family. As he walked away from the tribe, Grog vowed to make them pay for what they did to him. Now, Grog didn't know it at the time, but this was the first crime ever committed, and he was the first criminal. His tribe didn't know it at the time, but they also did something that had never been done before. They punished someone for breaking unwritten laws. They created the first law ever, and they established punishment and justice. For the rest of his life, Grog tried to get revenge on his tribe, but he was unsuccessful. He died alone and angry, and his grave became the first ever murder mystery. So remember, kids, if you hoard food during a drought, you might end up dead. Also, don't steal. It's not nice. Hey, thank you for watching this short. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. It really helps us grow. If you'd like to continue to learn about primitive man, watch this video about what life was like for the first humans.